A very good morning to all of you, my dear children. We are now starting with the next phytohormone, ethylene. IUPAC name of this ethylene is ethane. First, let's discuss the site of production. Site of production means the place from where it is produced. Ethylene is produced almost from all parts of the plants, that is root, leaves, flowers, fruits, seeds. It is more synthesized in the nodal region. However, maximum synthesis of ethylene takes place during climacteric ripening of the fruits and also from the cells which undergo aging, senescence. Ethylene enhances the rate of respiration during the ripening of the fruits. This rise in respiration is called respiratory climactic. What is the IUPAC name of ethylene? Ethane. You will remember this one. Ethylene is a gaseous hormone and the structure, the chemical structure is like this, C2H4. Let us talk about scientists who gave the specific functions of ethylene in plants. The one was Sarah Dowd, who showed the role of ethylene in abscission in the year 1917. Next, Denny reported that ethylene induces ripening of fruits in the year 1924. Crocker et al. Proposed that the ethylene was a plant hormone responsible for fruit ripening as well as senescence of the vegetative part. So we have learned the contribution of Sarah Dowd, Denny and Crocker. Crocker actually identified ethylene as a gaseous phytohormone. Now let us come to the functions which are performed by ethylene. The main function which is performed by ethylene is ripening of fruits. Ethylene promotes fruit growth and its ripening. The hormone even is used artificial ripening of fruit of some climacteric fruits like apple, banana, mango, etc. What happens during the ripening? During the ripening, we find some changes in the structure of the fruit, changes in the cell wall structure, pigment accumulation. We find that the raw fruits which are green in color due to the accumulation of chloroplast, when gets ripened, become colorful, that is accumulation of chromoplasts. So pigmentation accumulation, there is a change in the pigmentation accumulation. There is a change in flavor due to the production of aromatic volatile components, and also we find the conversion of the starches to sugar. It is observed that one fruit is ripening, and if it is placed along with the unripened fruits, then the ripening fruit becomes responsible for releasing certain gases like ethylene, and it is responsible for ripening of the unripe fruit. Scientists in the beginning observed that if the ripe oranges are kept with unripe banana, then the ethylene gas which is released out responsible for ripening of the green banana to the ripe banana. Let us discuss some other functions. Ethylene promotes senescence and abscission. Ethylene stimulates formation of abscission zone in leaves, fruits and flowers. Let me allow to explain. Senescence, what is senescence? Senescence means aging. When the metabolic rate gets lowered down. When the leaves are green in color, that time the auxin which is synthesized at the tip of the leaf and the stem becomes responsible for keeping the leaf fresh and thus carry out the function of the photosynthesis as it contains the chlorophyll. But when the leaves become old, that time what happens, there will be a formation of abscission layer. In this abscission layer at the juncture of petiole and the stem, where we find in that abscission layer the deposition of the suberin. What does it do? Suberin does not allow the transportation of the water and the minerals to the leaf. So gradually the leaf becomes yellow in color. And also we find there is accumulation of the enzyme cellulase. Cellulase is responsible for breaking down cellulose which is present in the cell wall. Thus ultimately it helps in the abscission, that is the falling down of the leaves. So ethylene production, increased ethylene production helps senescence of the old plant parts and also responsible for abscission. Ethylene stimulates flowering in some plants, example pineapple. Now some more functions. Ethylene inhibits longitudinal growth but stimulates transverse growth so that the stem looks swollen. However, ethylene helps in elongation of some aquatic plants, aquatic forms. It promotes rapid elongation of the leaf bases and the internodes in deep water rice plants. As a result, the leaf remains above the water. If we see the rice or the paddy fields, we find that the rice plants remain completely submerged in water. That's why internode or the leaf elongation should take place faster so that the leaves can come out of that water surface and can perform photosynthesis. This ethylene helps in the elongation of the leaf base and internode at a faster rate in rice plants. Next function, ethylene helps in breaking seed dormancy and reduces the dormancy of the bud and also responsible for the germination, seed germination. It has been seen in the groundnut seed, especially the seed germination. Some more functions. Apical dominance. It has been seen that ethylene inhibits the growth of the lateral buds and thus cause apical dominance in pea plants. It is believed that the auxin might be functioning partly through the synthesis of ethylene in causing apical dominance. That means the auxin and ethylene both are responsible for apical dominance. Next function, root initiation. In low concentration, ethylene stimulates root initiation and growth of lateral roots and root hairs. It also promotes sprouting in potato tubers. On the potato tubers, scars are present and from there buds develop very fast if ethylene concentration is more. Ethylene also helps in leaf bending, that is epinasty. Epinasty, what does it mean? Epinasty represents more growth on the upper surface of the leaf than on the lower surface, and it is said to be controlled by ethylene in many plants. Ethylene application increases the number of female flowers and fruits in some plants, example cucumber plant. We have discussed that the main function of the ethylene is the ripening of the fruit. It has commercial importance. Ethylene is used artificially in the form of a substance called ethaphone. Ethaphone, 2-chloroethyl phosphoric acid. Very important. You have to remember. Ethaphone in aqueous solution get absorbed by plants very quickly and it releases ethylene gradually. That's why it is used for artificial ripening of fruits. This is done nowadays very commonly because if we allow the fruits to get ripened on the plant. By the time you pluck it and bring it in the market for selling, it is already coming in the stage of overripe. But the farmers pluck the raw fruits, and when they have to sell it in the market, they treat it with ethylene. So those fruits are ripened artificially. Natural method ripening takes place from inside to outside, whereas when ethaphone is used, ripening from outside to inside. If we see banana which are ripened by artificial method, we find that the skin has become yellow, and by looking at it appears like that it is ripened, right? But when we eat it, it appears slightly raw. Ripening process has taken place from outside to inside. This is the difference between artificial ripening by ethaphone and the ripening naturally when the fruits are in the plant. All the important functions are discussed. We have come to the end. So before that, let's have an overview of the functions of ethylene. Ethylene main function, it helps in fruit growth and fruit ripening. Also, it helps in senescence and abscission, senescence of the old parts of the plant and the abscission, that is the falling of old parts of the plant. It also helps in root initiation and the root growth in low concentration when ethylene is used. It helps in flowering and the sex expression in certain plants, example cucumber. It helps in transverse growth, that is the stem gets swollen. Along with the auxin, it helps in apical dominance. In some plants we find ethylene is also responsible for epinasty, leaf bending, and it initiates germination and reduces the dormancy period. It is responsible for the sprouting of potato tubers also. From the ripened fruits, ethylene gas is released out, and it is responsible for ripening of the unripe fruits. Ethylene inhibits stem elongation, but it increases stem thickening. It is responsible for abscission of the leaves and the fruits. It is also responsible for leaf senescence and the flower senescence, aging. It is also responsible for the formation of the adventitious root in some plants like tomato. Adventitious root means that is the roots develop not from the radicle, from the other parts of the plant, and in tomato it has been seen ethylene promotes adventitious root formation. We have come to the end of this video, but before ending I would like to say something. In the beginning, when we talked about five phytohormones, we have divided them into two categories. We said some are growth promoters because they help in cell division and plant growth, and some are kept under the category growth inhibitors like abscisic acid because they help in the retardation of growth in plants. And under growth promoters we kept abscisic acid, cytokinin and the gibberellin acid. This ethylene phytohormone we have seen that helps in aging process, senescence, abscission. Thus actually it helps in retardation or the reduction in growth. That is, it can act as growth inhibitor. But at the same time we have seen ethylene secretion helps in root initiation, flowering, apical dominance. So in certain cases ethylene acts as growth promoter. That's why ethylene is placed under both the categories. We are left with only one phytohormone, abscisic acid, that I will discuss in my next video. I hope it is clear what I have discussed now. Thank you.